So here is my battery room. That's 30 kilowatt hours of Li-FE batteries from BYD and 3 charger inverters from Victron, multi-grids, and SolarEdge solar inverter. Just to show you some of the batteries. These come in nice racks, 4 units each, so 2.5 kilowatt hours per unit, so 10 kilowatt hours per cabinet. And because the energy going through this system is quite immense, I had to install a extraction fan system to try and get rid of this heat. And the monitoring by Victron is not great. As you can see, it's I mean, the statistics are not really that amazing, and they're just flat out wrong. So for example, it shows here that we used 20 kilowatt hours from the grid, which we didn't. So I've made my own using ELK stack. And if we go to the last 7 days, we can see that the red line shows the actual grid usage, and you can actually see that on no day did we use 20 kilowatt hours at all. So in fact, the red line is pretty much around 0 all the time. Yellow is the solar coming in. Green is my power usage, what I'm requesting. Blue is the charge and discharge of the battery. And below that you can actually see the battery state of charge. So overall, I'm quite happy with it. It could produce a bit less heat, that would be nice. I'm at a toasty 31 degrees Celsius here, and the monitoring of Victron is not really great, so I had to build my own systems basically. For example, this one here is a little handheld device called M5 Stack, and it receives the data. And if we actually go here for some Wi-Fi, so I can take this anywhere in the house and get an updated status of what's going on. You can see the energy flowing from the battery to the house. Different screens. Obviously it's night now, so there is no production. That's our energy usage. That's what we put into the grid. That's the battery use or charging, and the state of charge, of course. So all in all, this is really neat. You don't really need that much capacity for a regular household. This is a pretty big house. There is a heat pump over here with 8 kilowatt power, so this is quite some power usage there, plus electric car, plus pretty much everything else electric, so there's no gasoline anywhere in the house, and I'm pretty happy with that. The solar array is 7.8 kilowatts peak, which realistically in summer produces around 6 to 7 kilowatts during peak hours, and in April it's actually the best with well, 7.8. So yeah, total cost of this system is quite substantial, but with just one of these battery racks and a solar system, the amortization time is about 8 years. The battery does not decrease the amortization time. I got the other 2 batteries basically at half price, so that's why this has been upgraded. Yeah, and if you're wondering what this is Victron's control unit. This is basically a BeagleBone Linux computer, and with some RS-485 interfaces for the, oh, I managed to disconnect them, interfaces for the power sensors for what we take from the grid or what is coming from the solar array. And this is just a little switch, that little switch. The system is capable of emergency power. At the moment though, it's not wired into anything, so this is definitely something that I'll be looking at later on. Overall, I can really recommend going solar. I can really recommend getting at least a small battery. You know, you can get these racks with just one unit inside. That's already quite enough for a regular household, and you can upgrade this. I think one of these is about 2,000 euros. So it's not too terribly expensive, and of course you can replace each one of those. So it's quite a neat system. It's a low voltage system. There's also a high voltage system available. There's also systems from LG which are low and high voltage. So there's different ways to go about this. I'm not really entirely happy with Victron. There have been some troubles. There have been some firmware issues, some quiet fixes by the manufacturer, which they just applied without telling anyone. There have been oscillation problems. Yeah. Overall, it works, but obviously the market could be a lot better in terms of what solutions are out there. So I'm kind of sort of hoping that 10 years down the road, there are some better systems out there. For the moment it works and it charges the car, and I'm pretty much using no grid power anymore.